Hey everyone, and welcome back to my channel. So there's no doubt that by now most of you have probably either seen or heard of the Capital One Venture X, and that's going to be Capital One's first ever attempt at a premium travel card that's meant to compete with the bigger, well-known ones such as the Chase Sapphire Reserve or the American Express Platinum. Now in today's video, we're actually going to be breaking down the Capital One Venture X for you, letting you know the benefits of this card, how you can benefit from having it, and then some of the drawbacks of this card as well. And that way, hopefully at the end of this video, you can decide whether this card is worth it for you in 2023 or not. Now, really quickly before we get into the video, I just want to take a quick second to say thank you to each and every one of you who have subscribed, liked any of my videos, commented on any one of my videos, or shared any one of my videos. The love and support that I've been receiving recently has been absolutely amazing, and it's been incredible to see the rapid growth of my channel in such a short period of time, which would not be possible without each and every one of you who have tuned into my videos, as well as liked, commented, or shared, and all of you who have subscribed. And for that, I truly am thankful, and I'm excited for where this channel is going to head into 2023. And again, I just want to say thank you to each and every one of you. It means the absolute world to me. So starting off with the sign up bonus that the Capital One Venture X is going to get you is going to be 75,000 Capital One travel miles after you spend $4,000 within the first 3 months of account opening. Now, if you were to book travel through the Capital One travel portal, that will get you about $750 worth of travel. But later on in the video, we'll actually talk about how you can almost double that, get about $1,300 worth of travel for those same 75,000 points. Now, to go over some of the benefits of this card, we have the two main perks or two main benefits of actually having this card. Now, the first one is going to be a $300 annual hotel and travel credit that Capital One is going to give you that you can use for bookings made through the Capital One travel portal, as well as they're also going to be giving you a 10,000 mile anniversary bonus each year, and that's going to be valued at about $100 as well. So when you combine those two credits or the two main benefits with this card, that's going to be getting you about $400 in credits that you can use each year that'll help actually offset that annual fee of this card, which we'll talk about in a little bit as well. Now, moving over to the next big benefit that you're going to get with this card, and that's going to be airport lounge access. Now, as of right now, Capital One does only have one lounge currently open, and that's going to be their first lounge that they opened in the Dallas-Fort Worth airport out of Texas. Now, as we move forward into 2023 and moving beyond that into the years to come, Capital One is planning on opening a bunch more of their own travel lounges outside of various airports, but for right now, they have the one Capital One lounge out of Dallas, Texas. Outside of that, this card does actually get you a free Priority Pass membership, and that'll give you access to over 1,300 Priority Pass airport lounges worldwide. So even though there is only one Capital One lounge at this time, you do still get access to over 1,300 Priority Pass lounges spread across the world, which is a nice benefit to see as well, giving you a total of 3 people that can be in the Capital One lounge at any given time. Now, what else is cool to see with that Priority Pass membership that you're going to get is each Venture X cardholder can actually bring in 2 additional guests for free at no extra charge into any one of those Priority Pass memberships. So you and 2 guests of your choosing are going to get to come in that Priority Pass lounge with you. It's not going to be any extra charge or any extra headache for you, which is nice to see. Now, what else is actually really cool to see with that is any authorized users that you add on to your Venture X account can also bring in 2 free guests with them to any of those lounges that we mentioned. Capital One actually allows you to add up to 4 authorized users on this account for absolutely no fees. It's completely free to add up to 4 authorized users. And like we mentioned earlier, each authorized user is going to be able to bring in 2 additional guests, as well as you being the primary card holder still being able to bring in 2 additional guests for free as well. And that's going to be really nice. For example, if you and your wife are traveling and you have a larger family, you can have your 2 guests that you bring in for free, and then you can add your wife on as an authorized user to your Venture X for free, and then she can also bring in 2 guests for free as well. So that's a really nice benefit that you don't see on really any other premium travel card. No other travel card such as the Chase Sapphire Reserve or the American Express Platinum actually allows you to add an authorized user completely free, which is super nice to see from Capital One, and I'm a big fan of that perk. Now moving on to the actual earning structure that you're gonna get with this card, the Capital One Venture X is gonna earn you 10x miles on rental car purchases, as well as hotels booked through that Capital One travel portal that we mentioned. It's gonna give you 5x when you book flights through that travel portal. And outside of that, you're gonna be receiving 2x miles back on every other purchase. Moving on from the points that you're gonna earn with this card, let's actually talk about how you can use those points and then use that 75,000 mile sign-up bonus that you're gonna get with this card as well. So with those Venture X miles that you're gonna earn, you can use them to book travel directly through the Capital One travel portal. You can use them to pay off travel purchases made within the past 90 days using that Venture X. You can redeem them for gift cards. You can use them for cashback value, or you can transfer them out to a airline or hotel partner. Now, the first three ways that we mentioned, booking travel, paying off travel purchases made within the last 90 days, or redeeming for gift cards, each of those three options is gonna give you a value of 1 cent per point. So taking those 75,000 miles that we talked about earlier as a sign-on bonus, those would be worth about $750 for each one of these methods. Now, using it for cashback value is something that I would recommend you avoid at all costs if possible, because by doing that, you're only gonna be getting half a cent per point, meaning that with those 75,000 points, you're only gonna be getting about $375 value out of them. So definitely not the best use of those points. And lastly, we have transferring them out to an eligible travel partner. Now, I won't cover all of the partners that Capital One actually has, but I will put them up on the screen so you can see them. Now, by doing this, Capital One does allow you to transfer those points out at a 1-to-1 ratio, meaning that when you transfer those 75,000 points out to a airline or hotel partner, a lot of times you can get 1.5 cents, and sometimes if you're really lucky, you can even find value of 2 cents per point on those Capital One miles. So by transferring them out, you're gonna be able to get $750 on the low end, or up to $1,300 in value just by transferring them out to an eligible partner. That's actually my favorite and preferred method for not only Capital One Venture miles, but for any card that gives you a travel partner option. I definitely recommend that you look into that and look into transferring those points out, because usually that's how you're always going to get the best value for those points. Now, with this card, it is good to note that since it is a Visa Infinite card, you're also going to get a lot of cool benefits that come along with that. And those are going to be things such as travel insurance, baggage insurance, trip insurance, as well as rental car coverage. So those are really nice benefits that this card will get you as well. Now, talking about the annual fee of this card for a second, this card does come with an annual fee of $395. But if you remember earlier, we talked about how Capital One is giving you $400 worth of credits that you can use each year. That if you use all of those credits, which I'm a big fan of the credits that they actually give you, because if you're someone who travels even just once a year, it's going to be fairly easy for you to actually use not only that travel credit, but that 10,000 mile anniversary bonus as well. So by doing that, you're actually effectively making the annual fee of this card -$5, meaning that Capital One is essentially paying you $5 per year to have this card, which is an absolutely insane value, and why it's been such a popular card to talk about and a very popular release on the credit card market. Now, moving on from all the benefits and the earnings that you'll get with this card, let's take a second to actually compare it to its two other main competitors, those being the Chase Sapphire Reserve and the American Express Platinum. Now, yes, while the American Express Platinum does come with a bunch of different credits and offers that you can use to offset that annual fee pretty easily, it's a assortment of over 10 different credits and coupons and stuff like that that you have to actually go through to offset that annual fee. Now, that being said, I do still think that the American Express Platinum is a very excellent card to have, especially if you were a very frequent traveler or someone who travels multiple times throughout the year and really appreciates that Centurion lounge access. I have my American Express Platinum and I absolutely love it to this day, and I get great value out of that. Now, that being said, I do think that the Capital One Venture X is going to come out ahead of the American Express Platinum in one area, and that area is going to be simplicity. Now, we talked about offsetting the annual fee of both cards, and with the Capital One Venture X, it's clear that this card is going to be targeted towards the user who maybe doesn't travel a whole lot, but travels 1 to 2 times a year, wants a premium travel card that's going to get them really nice benefits, but doesn't want a super high annual fee and wants to be able to actually recuperate that annual fee pretty easily. And that's where this card is really going to shine ahead of some of its other competition. Now, moving over to lounge access, yes, Capital One does have a lot of cool ambitions with their lounge access, and I am very excited to see what happens in the coming years with their Capital One lounge access and the lounges that they set up. But in the meantime, they only have that one lounge located in Dallas, Texas. Now, you still do get access to priority pass lounges. However, when you take it and compare it to the American Express Platinum card, the Platinum card not only gives you the same priority pass where you can get access to those 1,300 lounges, but it also does have the Centurion lounge access. And that's gonna be something that's gonna be very major. And if you're someone who travels a lot and is flying a lot, I know personally for me, I enjoy the Centurion lounge access. And I know for a lot of others who travel frequently, that's gonna be a big benefit and a big draw to the Platinum over the Venture X. And lastly, for the earnings of the Capital One Venture X versus the Amex Platinum card, the American Express Platinum card is only going to earn you 1x points back on every single purchase unless you're purchasing travel through the American Express travel portal or booking flights through the airline. In that case, you're going to get 5x points. Now, when you compare that to the Capital One Venture X, the Venture X is giving you 10x points back on rental cars and hotels through the Capital One travel portal, 5x back on flights through that travel portal, and 2x back on everything else. So in terms of the earning categories, I would say the Venture X is going to actually beat out that American Express Platinum. Now, moving over to the Sapphire Reserve card, the Sapphire Reserve card is also going to come with a $300 travel credit. Now, with the $300 travel credit that the Sapphire Reserve gives you, you can actually use it outside of the Chase travel portal. So it doesn't have to be a booking made through that specific travel portal, giving you a little bit more flexibility in terms of actually using that credit, as opposed to the Capital One $300 travel credit where you have to use the Capital One travel portal. However, both are still good credits and they're fairly easy to use. And with the Capital One travel portal, you can still regain that value pretty quickly with the $300 travel credit as well. But it is important to mention that with the Chase Sapphire Reserve, that hotel or travel credit can be used a little bit easier outside of their travel portal. Now, for the Sapphire Reserve, it has the same 10x miles or 10x points back on hotel and rental car purchases through that travel portal, as well as the same 5x points or miles back on rental car purchases through the travel portal as well. However, the Sapphire Reserve does also get you 3x points back when you're doing dining, takeout, or eligible delivery. And so in that area, it'll come out ahead of the Venture X, which just offers you 2x. In addition to that, the Chase Sapphire Reserve does also give you some great travel partners that the Capital One Venture X does not, those being United Plus and World of Hyatt. So if you're someone who flies United or stays at a lot of Hyatt hotels, that might be something to consider that's going to benefit you more with the Sapphire Reserve. And lastly, with the Sapphire Reserve, it does have a dedicated 1.5x redemption value when you're redeeming your points through the Chase travel portal. So when you redeem your Sapphire Reserve points through the Chase travel portal, you're going to be getting a standard 1.5 times point boost for those points, meaning all of your Chase points are going to be worth 1.5 times value. And that's going to beat out the Capital One Venture X travel portal that's only giving you 1x value on those points. And now, with all that information being said, the Chase Sapphire Reserve does still come in at $550 per year for an annual fee, and the main credit that you're getting is that $300 hotel or travel credit. So even though that credit is a little bit easier to use than the Capital One's $300 travel credit, it means after the credit, the annual fee on this card is still $250, making it significantly more expensive to hold than the Capital One Venture X card. Not to mention that the Sapphire Reserve has been around for some time now, and a lot of you might even have its counterpart or its little brother, the Sapphire Preferred card, in which in that case, if you are one of the people that has the Sapphire Preferred already, then it would make sense to keep the Sapphire Preferred but stack it with the Venture X. That way you're not only only earning Capital One miles, but you're also earning Chase Ultimate Reward points. And then that gives you a bunch of different travel and transfer partners that you can actually use to combine those points, meaning you're earning in the best of both worlds. And lastly, I do want to mention that Chase is actually working on setting up its own network of lounges, and the first one is set to open in the Hong Kong National Airport. Now, with all that being said and all the information that we just covered, let's talk about who the Venture X card is actually for. Now, the Venture X is going to offer you simple, straightforward, easy to use rewards, as well as good earning value on that 10x, 5x, and 2x back on everything else categories that we talked about earlier. And it's also going to give you 2 very simple, straightforward, easy to use credits that you're going to get each year with this card that are going to help you offset that annual fee of $395 and effectively making Capital One pay you $5 a year to have this card. And so with that being said, who is this card actually for? Well, I believe this card is going to be a well-rounded card for any individual. If you're someone who's looking to switch it up from the typical Sapphire Reserve or the Amex Platinum, and you're looking to either downgrade your annual fee some, or you're someone who's looking into getting their first premium travel card, I definitely think that anyone can benefit from having this card with its simple, easy to use rewards, as well as its good earning structure. And I'm definitely excited to see what the future holds when Capital One starts opening more lounges across the world. But I am definitely curious to know what you guys actually think of the Capital One Venture X card. Do you think it's worth it in 2023? Is it a card that y'all are looking at getting? Or are you like myself and you kind of want to wait until Capital One gets some more lounges set up and then look into getting the card when that happens? But definitely let me know what you guys think by dropping a comment down below, and I'd be interested to hear from you. If you enjoyed the video and found it informative, I'd appreciate it if you could drop it a like, as it helps out the channel and me tremendously. And if you're interested in other videos just like this where we cover personal credit and finance tips, make sure to hit the subscribe button down below so you never miss an upload. As always, I appreciate each and every one of you for tuning in today and taking some time out of your day to watch my video, and I hope each and every one of you have a fantastic rest of your day.